We started by doing what's necessary. The preparation. The mental mindset. The blood, sweat, and tears. Week after week. Day after day. As the season draws near, arrives and progresses, we then do what's possible. Making the plays, sticking to the plan. And suddenly, before you realize it, you're doing the impossible. We are the Eagles. Above the line and soaring high.
Good morning, Horn Lake. We are here with head football coach, Coach Boyett. Coach, we had a massive game Friday night, state championship. We came out on top, but it was not an easy road to get there. Tell us a little bit about the entire week and how it unfolded, because y'all had to scramble to get everything rolling very quickly.
Well, of course, because, I mean, it's, you know, kind of the way my brain works. I can't make plans 2 weeks out for a trip that I'm not sure
that we're even going to be making.
You know, because, you know, our team motto is 1-0, and
you're always looking to that
right.
week.
And you know, coaches, players, everything, all focuses on that game that week. So, in order to make plans a couple weeks in advance, and I would have to be thinking beyond
right
the game at hand, you know, whether it be Madison Central or Starkville or, you know, any of those teams in the playoffs. So therefore, you know, when, you know, we won the game against Madison Central to secure a place in the state championship game, then, you know, had to get the ball rolling.
It all starts over.
You know,
and for some insight for those of you who might not be terribly familiar with the behind the scenes of football, in a college setup, they have teams of staff who are constantly taking care of looking out ahead to help break down film for possible opponents and putting together all the logistics of the what if scenarios. But that just doesn't exist in the high school world. So
well, it doesn't exist in most high school worlds. But now the one thing that we've got at Horn Lake High School, in which people may or may not know, is we've got Coach Hurt. And see, Coach Hurt was director of football operations at Georgia Tech.
Right.
At a major Division I pro. So
and coached at Sanford for years as
right.
well.
But, you know, at Georgia Tech, that was his job.
Was logistics.
Was logistics.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. See, there you go. See, you didn't know that, and probably a lot of people in school didn't know that. Didn't know that how valuable Coach Hurt. So
he was very integral in helping get this thing rolling.
Oh, I mean, transportation, meals, lodging, the whole deal, and
I heard the team got a pretty sweet bird's eye view in the locker room before the game to watch. And relax.
Just little things like that. I mean, contact, because we had a period of dead time, if you will, from around noon on Friday until about 2:30 or 2:45. There was kind of okay. You had to check out of your hotel, but you don't really have a place.
And nerves are running high too.
And so we end up in this room that overlooks the stadium, and we got.
Was Water Valley playing at the time?
Yes, Water Valley was playing, and we had a movie going. There were pool tables in there, cornhole games. So our guys could just kind of unwind, relax a little bit. And just because of Coach Hurt kind of put all that together and was so valuable to the trip. I mean, and then. And just kind of a side note, he coached our defensive line, who's played pretty well all year. So,
right.
And that's what I think at one point last week he said, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, he said, I think I've got everything done on the trip. I think I might watch film now on Oak Grove and see what they look like, But
that's awesome. So we have a big coaching staff, and we are very fortunate for all of our coaches.
Absolutely.
And it was a huge team effort to make this entire season roll the way it was.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, all the jobs that each coach has a job on the field, and then what they do off the field or what they do, like you talk about Coach Farrell. I mean, everybody saying, okay, well, Coach Farrell's offensive coordinator. He coaches radar. He calls the plays. Well, he also does all of our video work.
Right, which is a huge task.
Yeah, and then Coach Hectorn, and everybody, Coach Hectorn coaches N'Kobe Dean. He must be a really good coach. He he does a great job with our linebackers, but he also does all of our social media, does all of our highlight videos,
Reels.
things like that, and then he also does all of our character building.
Right.
And I could go through each coach. Coach Gore's in charge of all equipment. He and Coach Nails do a great job with that. And then Coach Harville, everybody say he coaches receivers. He also takes care of all the grounds, all the athletic grounds on campus. So,
massive,
I mean, that's so I think this kind of got started with the logistics of the trip, and what Coach Hurt did, was so valuable. But what each coach does outside of like coaching their position is, and everybody works together, and it's just, it's been a phenomenal year for us. You knew we'd get my phone go off. My phone goes off every time I talk to you.
We won against Madison. What immediately started going through your mind? Y'all started, I'm assuming, Saturday pretty quickly.
No, we started. I mean, when we walked in the office Friday night, we started. Because we won, we knew we were going to the state championship game. First thing was, who are we playing? Because Oak Grove and Brandon were playing.
Had that game completed by the time we were?
When it was shortly after our game that I found out, and I don't know if we actually finished before they did, but it was shortly after we were done that I found out who we were playing. So now we've got to start gathering information on Oak Grove. Right. And that started, minutes after we walked off the field playing Madison Central. And then
I had talked to Coach Hunt, and he said that several of y'all had seen some film on several of the teams we thought we might. He said several of us were just mildly, vaguely familiar with some of the things that some of those teams were doing, but that the hardcore breakdown did not happen until this week.
And like I said before, I mean, there, the way my brain works, I had not started any preparation
Right.
whatsoever for anyone beyond Madison Central.
Right.
So
Friday night, you find out that Oak Grove's going to be it.
right,
Then what happens?
start gathering film. And
You call other teams within the state that's played them,
No,
or is Huddle does Huddle allow you to go in and grab footage like that?
we made a phone call that night to Oak Grove's head coach and just said, would you, instead of you having to make several phone calls and get film on Horn Lake, and me doing the same,
Can we just do a trade?
do you just want to trade? And he said, yeah. He said, what do you want to trade? I said, let's trade everything. So we traded our entire season, and that's 14 games of breakdown. And I don't know if that was several hours of work, inputting data, breaking down, and and the other part of it is going through and picking out parts that that relate.
You got to get a strategy,
right? That because we know how we play offensively and defensively. All right, so now we've got to find opponents that were similar to us, and then how Oak Grove played against those teams, and and then start creating a plan. And then on the other side of it, with all 14 games and all that information, we get in the game, and Oak Grove goes to an offensive set that they had used very, very little during the course of the season.
and probably strategically on purpose, knowing that y'all were breaking down strategies that they had used most of the season.
Well, I think, we have been, our goal is to run the football and stop the run.
Right.
And we have been, for the most part all year, pretty good at those two things. And Oak Grove tried to run the ball early in the game a couple of times and had no success. And they just said, okay,
It's time to try something different.
yeah, they just took. I think they told the running back, "Hey, you got the night off. Go home, do whatever." And they put 5 receivers on the field and threw it every down, and which that's not what they do.
Right.
To that degree.
And had some success for that.
Absolutely. I mean, their quarterback's unbelievable. Oak Grove's quarterback's a really good player.
He signed to Georgia.
He is committed to the University of Georgia, and he's also probably
baseball player as well.
probably first. I mean, people are saying he'll go top 15 pick in the major league draft. So he's a really good player. But that's what you want. When you play for a state championship, if you win a state championship,
You're gonna run into some people like
right,
that.
Right. You got to beat somebody pretty good, and that's what makes it so satisfying, and especially to our players, because our players know, hey, now your phone's going off. Yeah, I thought I was just the unprofessional one here. And this guy too, but I think it's really satisfying to our players to know that, hey, we beat a quality opponent. It was not easy. I promise you. People after the game said, "Oh, Coach, that was the best game to watch." One of the guys from he's over the Association of Coaches. He said, I've been putting this game on for 18 years, and that's the best game I've ever watched.
It was incredible.
And I said, well, I wish I would have had your seat, because from my seat, it was a little. At no time did I go, oh man, this is a great game.
Right.
It was, just so happy for their guys that to face a challenge like that and be able to find a way to win, and which done that all year long.
What do you think the pivotal point in the game was for us, as far as what strategies did y'all end up? Let's do this at halftime. Recap everybody what the score was and where we were at.
Okay, at halftime, I think I'm right. I think we were down 20-14.
I think we were down.
We were down 20-14, and they were going to have to kick to us to start the second half. So we were getting the ball, and our message to our team at halftime, they hadn't really stopped us. We were
Right.
we were able to move the ball, and
we had made some mental mistakes. For those of you who may not have seen the game, if some things had gone a little bit better for us, we probably would not have been down by halftime.
no, I mean, we had
We gave up a couple of possession, a good field positions that we probably could have scored on.
we had a couple. The problem that I mean, I guess what stopped drives were penalties
Right.
on our part. We had a play where we got the ball down in the first half inside the 5-yard line, and it came back, holding call, and just things like that. But we were able to move the football, and so our message to our guys at halftime, offensively, is guys, there's not a lot of adjustments here.
Right.
Just
Settle down and play.
We're gonna do this what we've been doing, and made a couple passing game, made a route adjustment or two, but I mean, basically we're going to do what we do. Defensively, there was a little bit more adjusting on that side because you could see that they were going to a.
They were trying to change their offense.
Yeah, they were doing something totally different. So, Coach Gore, Coach Hector, and Coach Hurt, they had the work cut out for them a little bit and made several adjustments during the game, and and probably the best one was the very last one they made, but just and the thing about this, for Coach, Coach Gore, Coach, the defensive staff to make those changes, and then the guys to be able to adapt and, pick up on those things, was really big for us. But you asked me, what was the turning point of the game?
In your opinion?
Probably, there were so many plays in that game that were huge. But I thought when their quarterback, who was also their punter, they had 4th down and was punting the ball from around midfield, and he tried to run for the first down, and we were able to stop him and get the ball in really good field position in the fourth quarter. I thought that changed the entire game. The guys making, defensively making that play and getting that stop and getting the ball back for us.
Right. Coach, tell us a little bit about Friday night and what y'all had to overcome offensively to get the points on the board to win the game.
We had a lot to overcome. Our headsets weren't working as we had planned. First time all year for that, and picked a great time for that to do that. Our huddle sideline stuff quit working
Okay, so all the technology
technology decided not to work on the biggest stage.
Wow.
Other than that, though, our kids played hard and they played well. We had calls go against us. That was a big thing. We had 3 huge plays taken away due to penalties, but other than that, the kids kept fighting and doing their thing.
What are some of the takeaways from the game that you think of whenever you think back about the game itself?
Resiliency and overcoming adversity. It was stressful, but knowing that we were able to do all that's a good feeling.
What was your game plan for the actual game? I know y'all don't change up a whole lot of what you do from week to week, but you knew that Oak Grove was going to throw a lot at you. What were the main things you were planning on doing in the game?
Being physical and knocking them off the ball and doing what we do and playing Horn Lake football, being tough and physical and running it right down their throat.
So the running game was first and foremost in your minds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a safety thing because you have the potential for interceptions, of course.
You if you can run the ball, you keep yourself out of long situations. Last time I checked, if you hand it off, you can't throw an incompletion. Right. So it's not 2nd and 10.
Right.
Well, this is season number 41 for me. And so I've been at this a long time, coached in college, high school. And so done a little bit of everything, but I sure am glad to be here at Horn Lake with these young men. And so it's been a thrill for me to watch these young players grow and develop.
That's good. Can you tell me a little bit about how did you adapt from being a college coach to coming to high school?
Well, the biggest thing is that football is football. And, it's all about fundamentals and blocking and tackling and throwing and catching. And, college, you have to go recruit and talk guys into coming into your school. In high school, you have what you have, and so you have to adapt to the talent that you have, and so you can't go out and recruit. And I did a little pro ball, and so there's no waiver wire or trade or whatever. You have to take what's here at your school and then mold them and adapt and make them, with your offense, defense, and things like that. And high school football is the purest form of football, in my opinion, because they're not on scholarship. They're not getting paid to do it, and so they're doing it because they want to be a part of something and they love the game. And so that's a great thing about high school football.
Right. So tell me, in Friday night's game, Oak Grove changed their whole offensive routine. Tell me, how did you guys adapt to that change?
Well, it took us a little while because, you work all week for one thing, and it's a compliment to our defense because nobody has been able to run the football on us all year long. And so they basically just gave up on the run and went 5 receivers, and they had a great quarterback and threw the ball all over the place. So we had to constantly make some adjustments on defense as far as how we were guarding them and get more people on them, and plus get some type of pass rush on the quarterback who was very mobile. And so it was like a chess match. It was move, counter, move, counter, move, and I guess we just made one more move better than they did.
Right. So tell me, what are some things that you think helped change the trajectory of the game Friday night?
Well, I think that, number one, our offense did a great job of moving the ball and getting points on the board. And defensively, we got enough stops to keep us in the ball game. And, to me, when I look at it, professionally, it was a complete, total team game. Kicking game, we kicked a field goal, did a great job there. Offense put points on the board, defense got stops when we needed to, and so it was a total team effort. And the thing that I think was the difference in the ball game was the character of our young men and how bad they wanted to win that game. And they've been shooting for that for 2 years, and all the summer workouts and all of the stuff that we've done in the weight room and character building and everything. So it's been a long time putting a lot of hours and a lot of effort into it, and that showed up on Friday night.
We're here with Coach Hectorn. Coach, we had some struggles with the defense because tell us a little bit about what happened on the Oak Grove side. They made some changes from what they had been doing.
Correct. Well, first of all, they had a quarterback that is committed to play at Georgia, and he's
killer.
Really, really, really good, to say the least. They had a couple of receivers that were really good, which we knew that going in. They actually ran the ball about 65% of the time during the course of the season, and then obviously on Friday completely reversed that and came out throwing the ball just about every play.
So halftime, y'all go in to kind of regroup and rethink. Offensively, we were moving the ball. I don't think y'all changed a whole lot of strategy on that. What did you have to tell the guys? What did y'all talk about on the defense side of things?
Honestly, there wasn't a ton of changes we made. Right before the half, we kind of changed up our coverage a little bit to kind of give some help over the top of their really, really good receiver. We also kind of spied the quarterback, which meant we just kind of let the linebacker there to kind of keep eyes on him so he couldn't get out and run. But at halftime, the main thing was, guys, they can't drive on us. We just got to try to eliminate these big plays and just, hey, let's just keep doing what we're doing. And that's really what it came down to. There were about four or five big plays that they took for touchdowns.
Right. some final thoughts about the game. Tell us what is going through your mind, because obviously, I mean, there's a lot swirling around up there.
A whole lot. It's still just kind of a whirlwind. Coming in and just kind of thinking, we should be practicing right now. It's hard to believe it's over.
It's third block and we're not down on the field.
What's going on right now? But incredible season, and I just think the way that our guys showed up and played, and they didn't flinch. It didn't matter what happened. They continued to fight for each other, and it just. I feel like especially all season, but really the last few weeks, so many things have fallen into place and just kind of really bounced our way. And it was just like it was meant to happen. I mean, there was no way we were leaving out of there without that gold ball.
Okay. I hate to put you on the spot here about future season when we can't even hardly enjoy what's just happened. But surely in the back of your mind, you're already thinking about next year. What will be the off seasons? What will be y'all's game plan for the off season?
Get right back to work. I mean, obviously, we're going to spend some time in the weight room and we're running and trying to get faster and stronger. And we'll be young. I mean, we're graduating.
Sure.
A lot of guys have played a lot of snaps for us over the last 2 to 3 years, and making sure those guys understand the defense, and we'll also spend a ton of time with our above the line program and really kind of getting back to that and bringing
creating
in a new
good
crop.
culture.
Absolutely. I mean, end of the day, we know that's something that's helped get us where we are today, and just continue to build on that. I told our seniors, I guess it was the end of last school year, it takes about 2 years for a culture to reveal itself, and we installed above the line almost exactly 2 years ago, and you see kind of where it got us. So, we know that we're going to have to do some growing and learning on the fly, but we'll go right back to work on that, right back to work in the weight room, and just get ready to roll again.
How does it feel to be Mississippi's 6A state champion?
It feels great. It was just a good blessing from God.
How did you mentally prepare for the game?
I always listen to NBA Youngboy, and he got me ready, and that's how we won.
How did it feel to play your last high school football game?
It was very emotional and kind of heartbreaking, but hey, it's time to move on.
Okay, do you have plans after high school to play football?
Yes, I don't know, I don't have a decision yet though, but I do plan on playing football.
Okay. At the championship game, you were awarded MVP of the game. How did you feel at that moment, and how does it feel to hold that title?
I felt very blessed and, and very honored at the moment.
Tell us about some of the defining moments of the state game.
When we all came together at bad times and we pulled it out and we trusted each other.
How does it feel to be Mississippi's 6A state champions?
It's a great feeling just for the community and the team. All we work for all season, all off season is great.
How did you guys mentally prepare for such a big game?
Well, me personally, I prepared for the game just like any other game. Because I feel as if I prepared myself throughout the season like every game was a state championship. So when it got to that point, it was just a walk in the park.
Okay, how did it feel to play your last high school football game?
I mean, it's a bittersweet feeling, definitely winning state with it, but I'm ready for the next step in my life.
Right. So what are your plans after high school?
Go to college.
What do you want to major in?
I'm a major in engineering.
How does it feel to be Mississippi's 2018 Mr. Football?
Oh, it's a great accomplishment, but I couldn't do it without my team. My team and my support system and God, couldn't do none of that without them.
And other than the championship, what was the game that stood out to you the most?
One of the games, probably the playoff game, first coming beating Warren Central, and then getting our revenge against Starkville, second playoff game, and then third playoff game, Madison Central just coming back and winning the way we did. It was great. And of course, the state championship, capping it off, the perfect season.
Congratulations again to our football team. If you did not get a chance to catch the game, you need to head to the Mississippi High School Athletic Association's website, and you can pull the game from that website and relive the entire game that way.